Hi, I'm Samantha Gassman, and I'm joined today by representatives from the Wounded Warrior Project and CSX. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Jennifer Silva, Chief Program Officer at Wounded Warrior Project, and grateful to spend time today.
Hello, everyone. Melanie Musso. I'm the Vice President of Program Operations and Partnerships at Wounded Warrior Project.
And I'm Brian Tucker. I'm Vice President of Corporate Communications at CSX, one of the nation's leading freight rail transportation companies and proud supporter of the Wounded Warrior Project.
Great. Thank you all so much for that. So this year or last year, we had the Wounded Warrior Project annual report that came out based on the survey that was conducted. It's the 12th year of conducting this survey, and this is the first time that Wounded Warrior Project has teamed up with CSX to conduct the survey. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship and that partnership?
Sure, I can start. We've been a proud supporter of Wounded Warrior Project for a number of years. And we saw this opportunity to support the survey as a way to make sure that we're doing everything that we possibly can to help the Wounded Warrior Project deliver the best possible support and provide the best possible resources to this community, to our nation's wounded veterans. We have a company-wide commitment to providing support and resources to veterans, active duty military service members and their families through our Pride in Service program. And by supporting research like this, we're hopefully enabling the Wounded Warrior Project to gain insights and better understand some of the issues that are facing this community and help tailor their programs to better serve them. And it's something that's very important to us, and we're really excited to be able to deepen our relationship with the Wounded Warrior Project and invite other companies to do the same.
Wonderful. Anything to add?
I'd just like to add, we are grateful for CSX's support, and it's very important that we conduct this survey annually. We use the data collected, the wonderful feedback from the warriors that we serve to actively drive our programs. And we want to make sure that our precious resources are put towards the biggest challenges for the warriors that we serve and their families. And so it's really important, and we're really grateful that they give us this feedback, and that we have partners like CSX who allow us to get it. And we also have been very successful and proud of the fact that we've been able to have other VSOs and lawmakers and or governmental organizations use this data, so it can help inform their priorities and our legislative priorities as well. And so in areas like women warriors, toxic exposure, and things like that, it's been super helpful. Mental health access in driving some of those, and not just anecdotal stories, which are critical and important, but trend data for the entire population is actively using the VA. It's really important to bring that into the discussion. So we're grateful for the use of this data.
Great. So speaking of the data, what were the key takeaways from this year's survey?
Absolutely. And as it's been mentioned, I mean, this survey in its 12th year is really a comprehensive look at the warriors that are registered with Wounded Warrior Project. And it really is an ability to look at the financial, physical, and mental health needs and well-being of the population of wounded, injured, or ill post 9/11 veterans. And the report is extremely robust and lengthy with lots of data, as you can imagine. But Jen alluded to some of the key areas that have not only informed our own direct programs and services, but our advocacy and policy efforts outside. But the top line findings that I would highlight, number one, is mental health continues to be a concern of critical nature for post 9/11 wounded warriors. Our data this year shows that nearly 1 in 4 of warriors had thoughts related to suicide in the last 12 months when they took the survey. And the majority, about 70% of those, were within the last 2 weeks within taking the survey last summer. We also see that toxic exposure is also a major health concern for this population of post 9/11 veterans. Nearly all of the warriors, 98% of those that are registered with us, report being exposed to hazardous or toxic substances during their military service. A third area that we highlight with the findings this year really is the unique challenges and gaps in care specific to women warriors. We see the number of women who have experienced military sexual trauma. It's 7 in 10 that are registered with us report that. And if you contrast that with their male counterparts, that's just at 6%. So certainly a unique experience by our female service members. And the fourth bucket of key findings that I'd highlight is that during this time, warriors are struggling with their finances. During the last year, more than 2 in 5, that's almost half of warriors reported not having enough money to make ends meet in the last 12 months. So a lot of data in there, but if I had to distill it down to really 4 big themes or buckets, those are the high level findings.
Thank you. So how do these findings then inform the programs that you currently have or things that you may do in the future?
I'll take that one. I would just say it informs it greatly. We couple this data from the warriors who give it, and then we also align it with our interaction data, our operational data within Wounded Warrior Project, and we build our resources to tackle those biggest challenges, like I mentioned. One of the areas that we've invested in over time, because year over year, these warriors were telling us that mental health is still a challenge, is our Warrior Care Network. And it's a very intensive outpatient program where warriors get a year's worth of PTSD counseling in 2 weeks. And so we've been able to also see over time, so we developed this model where they were getting great mental health care, tackling PTSD. What we saw was there were a couple other barriers to that care: substance use disorder and traumatic brain injury. And so what we've been able to do is invest more into that and grow those levels of care so we can treat the whole warrior and make sure there's no gap in treatment. And so we're grateful that we can now offer PTSD treatment plus traumatic brain injury and substance use disorder in one network. And so we're proud of that. I would say that's an area that this data year over year has directly impacted. And I have several more examples, but that's a big one.
Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like, through the years that you've been doing the survey, kind of the same themes come up, year over year. Were there any things out of this last survey that were unique or different?
Well, I would say so more recent is the information on women warriors. And so about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, we really said we're seeing some unique differences in how they're receiving care and what type of care they're receiving, just anecdotally. And so we took a year as part of our Women Warriors initiative and invested in listening, kind of a listening tour for an entire year. We had focus groups, Women Warriors survey, and then took that information in and asked further questions in this survey. But what we did was that really drove what we wanted to focus on. And so some of the findings in here reflect what we were finding is that some of the gender-specific healthcare is still a challenge within the VA. There's been some gains in that they now get maternity care in the community, but we're still finding that they're reporting to us that it's not as welcoming of an environment as they would like, and that there's gender-specific care that isn't adequate. And I would say what some silver linings that we found in our Women Warrior initiative that has been informed by this is that they really respond well in almost over-engage in mental telehealth in anything that's virtual. So as you might imagine, that anytime they don't have to maybe get childcare or reorganize their life, they're able to join things virtually. And so they are very much responding well with mental telehealth, and our peer support groups that are virtual, that are focused on women. That's been a really great intervention because they have shown that they have much higher levels of isolation more than their male counterparts and those that respond to this. So we really wanted to tackle that. We don't want them to feel isolated. So those virtual women peer support groups have been very effective.
Yeah, thank you. And I saw in the report as well that women veterans perceive their service differently. They feel they have different experiences as well. And some of the mental health outcomes are a bit different as well from their male counterparts. So it sounds like you all are working to kind of remedy that as well with your partners.
Yes, we are. It's a priority of ours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with the survey, so can you talk a little bit more about how it was conducted, the demographics of the individuals that you surveyed, and how many folks were able to respond to you?
Absolutely. So the survey was deployed to a select population of representative samples, representative population of those registered with Wounded Warrior Project last summer. So at that time, we had over 152,000 warriors registered. We had 18,000 or just about 18,000 warriors respond. And that is a representative sample of the population at large. And so it was administered both electronically with an email invitation where warriors could opt in and complete the survey online. We also had a paper and pencil based mail version of the survey available to complete. And then for any warrior needing assistance to complete the survey, we were able to provide that support to complete the questionnaire to make sure that we captured a full snapshot of the population that we serve.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for answering these questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to highlight?
The only thing I would say, I obviously the generous support of CSX and being able to help support and fund this important research that obviously has broad implications, but the most critical component of this whole piece are the warriors who have graciously volunteered their time and sharing of their own personal experiences and opportunities so that we can rise to the challenge and meet their needs and make sure that they are never forgotten. So a debt of gratitude to those that take the time to share so that everybody can be impacted.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melanie. Anything from you, Jennifer?
Well, just thank you for your service in uniform and now as military spouse. So it's awesome. Love to meet another female veteran. So
thank you. Likewise. Brian, anything from you?
Just a big thank you to all the work that Wounded Warrior Project does for our wounded veterans. The people of CSX are extremely proud to be a supporter and a partner of the Wounded Warrior Project. And we're just thankful for all of the work that they do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone.